Hey guys, welcome back to Kiwi Classics and Customs. We're back on Old Blue for a couple of hours today. Gonna try and get this windshield swapped out. It's just a maze of cracks and moisture, intrusion into the laminate. That's that white colour they get. A lot of these old laminated windshields, you'll get that white, particularly around the edges, and that's moisture getting in and actually delaminating the laminated screen. Windscreen, windshield, depending which hemisphere you're from. So we've got a nice new windshield set here, thanks to AMD, and it's got the green band on the top, which is nice. We've got a brand new seal to go with it, and we're going to get I think it's going to be quite the improvement on this little delight here. So that'll at least mean I can kind of see where I'm going, hopefully. So yeah, let me get this old windshield cut out. I'll throw the camera on the tripod and let's have at it. Alright, it's just really as simple as a box cutter and just cutting around the rubber. Now obviously you need to be a little bit careful. You don't want to slip and slide your box cutter down your cherry paintwork, but yeah, just start cutting. As I say, do be careful. You can cut out the inside lip as well if that's easier for you. It doesn't really matter which way you do it. This rubber has started to turn to stone, I can tell you that. It's pretty hard. Ugh. You'll soon figure out just how much of the lip, basically about half an inch of the lip, is actually holding the glass in. So about half an inch from that inside edge up is where you want to cut. And you'll soon see if you've got too much, you'll just put a cut in the rubber and you won't be able to tear it off. And if you've cut the right amount, you will. In this case, we're not worried about the glass. You don't have to worry about scratching that or anything. It's just getting it out. Yeah, whew, getting warm. Now one little tip for you if you're doing it in winter time like I am right now, I got the heat turned up pretty high in the shop. And that is, the new rubber, is going to be tight. It's not used to being in a car yet. So the warmer you can have it, like if you do it in the middle of summer, it's not a bad time to do it. I need it done right now. It's cold out. If we got like 35 degrees, I got it set at 70 in here, so it's quite warm. But it just makes everything a little more supple and just a little bit more, a little bit happier to go in. So yeah. Right, I'm going to get something to stand on because my legs are too short to reach the middle. Get out. Show it. Come on. Whoop. That's what I was trying not to do, is have it fly out and land on the hood. So I tried to do that. Again, I'm a little more relaxed than you know, if your truck's in nice shape and you're not, and you know, you are concerned about the paint and that kind of thing, you know, maybe put a packing blanket down over your hood just to protect it a little. I don't know, I'm leaving my tools on the hood, but the paint is not really show quality, shall we say. So I'm being a little more relaxed around this. This is a shop truck, you know. It's not it'll possibly end up a hot rod, but it's really a shop truck. Right, let's get rid of that. That's a big glass, man. Pop that on the back there. Out with the old. Now it's just a matter of pulling what's left of the gasket out. Ooh, there's a bit of rust up in there. Yeah, water's been getting in there for a while, but hopefully it's solid enough we can still clean it up and put the new windshield in, not have to, hopefully not get into some metal work along the front of the roof there. But it is a little scaly, I'll be honest. But yeah, that's what happens when you leave. You continue to ignore the leak and just put up with it. The water gets trapped, and it does not do anything good. That's the old rubber. Again, being pretty casual with the hood. So don't persecute me for that. This truck is probably going to need a repaint at some point, so I'm not too worried about it, but I'm going to get all this scraped off. That sounds like a whole lot of fun. All right, well, it's a little bit worse under there than I'd hoped. We got some holes here, and what's happened is they've used clear RTV, and it was all along the top here, and they've also used it on their backside under here to try and seal up a water leak. That's the wrong way to, it's the wrong way to do it, and it's the wrong product. The trouble with RTV is it's what's called acetic cure. Now, acetic is a fancy way of saying acid cure. So there's actually an acid in it, and if you get RTV and you actually smell it, get the tube of it and smell it, it's got quite a strong smell that'll kind of make you go, whoa. You know, it's quite a strong smell, and it's that acid that is the problem. What it does, it eats into the paint, and this is why that rust has crept back up. You know, they've squirted it under the edge, and that acid eats its way through the paint and then into the metal, and this is why it's such a mess across the front here, and we've got rust through issues here. So to do this properly, I'm going to have to cut some sections out, weld some pieces in, which I was really hoping not to do, but it is what it is. You know, you got to fix it right. So yeah, don't use RTV or acid cure silicon. You can get neutral cure, and you'll find it in like the Home Depots, and that usually it goes like, they call it like plumber's guttering silicon, and it's a neutral cure. It has no acid in it. It takes a lot longer to set up because the acid they put in the acetic cure is what makes it set up, you know, in half an hour. So you either, thing is, just don't use silicon. Use where is it? I've got a tube of it here. There is a windshield embedding compound, which I'll get to in a minute. You know, as we start to put this in, that's the stuff to use. Don't use RTV. Don't use silicon. Silicon doesn't stick that well to rubber. So you know, it's a very short-term fix that's going to create you a long-term problem like this one. So yeah, I've got to put a section in here, not very far up. But it's still there, you know. So this is going to make, you know, like an hour and a half job into a day job, which is a bit of a pain in the butt, I got to tell you, just because someone desperately tried to used 2 or 3 tubes of RTV to fix the water leak in their old truck. And they probably thought they were doing it right, but they weren't. All right, I'm going to keep cleaning. It's not that entertaining for you guys watching me clean, so I'm going to get that done. We'll get a bit of fresh metal welded in this old girl, and we will continue to install the windshield at that point. Okay guys, back in a minute. Okay, I've been busy. We've got these rust issues, the rust holes addressed, welded up, and now we've got, you can see all the black there, that is an eastward rust converter, which is kind of ideal for this kind of issue. Once you clean off all the loose rust scale and the dirty brown kind of dust and rust that's there, we got, with a grinder and a wire wheel, welded up the few little holes we had there. We probably ended up with about 8 holes, like perforation holes in there, and so 2 little repair panels took care of them, then hit it with this rust converter. Now it's great stuff for this sort of thing. The only little drawback is that it takes 48 hours to set up. So 48 hours have passed. I'm going to get a bit more sort of conventional grey primer on there, and then it'll be a case of a little bit of rattle can Wimbledon white on there. Not trying to make it a show truck, just trying to make it presentable, and a decent, gloss sealed surface to, or semi-gloss, to put the new windshield in on, so that we can repaint the roof later if we choose to. So I just want to make it presentable. So I'm going to do that, get a bit of primer on there, get a bit of colour, and I'll be right back. So we got the mic?
You got microphone. Yep.
All right, as you can see, got this all prettied up again, welded up, smoothed out, just a little bit of rattle can Wimbledon white on the front edge of the roof there, just so we got it nice. We'll address the rest of the roof later, maybe. And just also black the dash up a little bit while the glass is out, just to make it look pretty and make it real easy to do with the glass out. So now it's time to battle this rubber and get that on. So let's go and have a look at that. Now, I've seen videos with the guys putting these in what I call dry, that's with no sealer, and for me that doesn't work. These things are notorious for leaking. The windshield openings vary from truck to truck, like a lot. Sometimes when you put them in, they're tight, sometimes they're really easy to drop in, and will leak water, even with a brand new seal. You need this stuff, which is windshield and body sealant, or bedding compound, it's also known as. This stuff you have to use. Now I put it into the little groove here. I've already done that in this little groove that the glass fits into, and then I'll also run a nice big bead around the opening. The negative side of that is you get covered in black shit. Like, you can't help but get this stuff on you, so you're gonna have to wear gloves. I don't really like wearing gloves, but I'll be wearing gloves, because this stuff just goes everywhere. Every time you touch something else, black goes everywhere. But it won't leak, and don't be tempted to use urethane if you're looking for this stuff. I got this off Amazon, and don't use urethane. Urethane is not the right product. Urethane, obviously they use it a lot on later model cars where the windshield's bonded in. These are not bonded in, these are held in with a gasket. So you need the correct, the correct sealer to work with a gasket, which is this stuff, windshield and body sealant. So make sure you get that. 3M make an equivalent one, which is getting a bit harder to get now, so I ended up buying this. This is just as good. So yeah, all right, let's get this rubber on, then I'll come back and show you how to rope it up, get the rope set up, and we'll throw it in the hole. This is trying to put the rope around the gasket, and this is a neat little tool I've got that I acquired through CJ Pony Part actually. And the rope threads through it. It's a little tubular handle, and you can just poke it under the edge. Get it in there, and you start kind of just left of center. Hold on to that end, and you can pull it through, and it makes a very frustrating, tedious job actually quite quick. So these are like 12 bucks or something, so save yourself a headache and buy one, because otherwise the way you got to do it, the old school way, is trying to hold that up and poke it in and use a screwdriver to poke it in, and it'll take you half an hour to get around. easy, and quite a few cuss words probably too. So this just slides in, which is really a clever little idea. Yep, does that occasionally, but that's alright. Just do that. Switch around. Ah. Doesn't need to be right in there. I'll tell you what, these windshields are a lot bigger than a Mustang one. About the same height, but width-wise, these are wide windshields, man. Now when you get back around, carry on past where you started and kind of overlap it for 6 inches or so. This is not a real exact science, it's approximately in the middle and approximately 6 inches. And then I just tape that stuff to the windshield for transport, as it were, over to the car, so it doesn't flop around and get in the wrong place. Right, now we've got to run another bead of this bedding compound right around the opening. So let's do that. Bead, about, I don't know, size of a pencil, I guess. Around about that bead all the way around. What's great about this stuff, it never sets. It doesn't glue, it's not a glue like urethane. So it never sets, so it flexes with the vehicle, which is the whole concept. Because you know, the windshield opening does flex. Not like an inch or something, you know, not really anything that you'd see, you know, like driving it, but it does flex. So the gasket has to be able to move a little bit, and that's why they use this and it doesn't set. So it can just move back again, and doesn't tear up the seal. If you use a urethane, that flexing will break the seal, and then you may as well not have it there. It's a lot harder to reach the middle than a Mustang as well. Yeah. Right. Other side.
Ask your viewers which going to be a better color match. The spray weight or the Red Bull?
The spray weight. Oh, that Red Bull's a pretty good match.
Yeah.
I think wonder if Red Bull will give us the formula for it. So don't be too shy with this stuff. It's not like it's expensive. It's like 12 bucks a tube, I think. But do expect to use the best part of a tube, if not a whole tube. Because if there's any excess, you know, you can clean it up. It just scrapes off. It's not the most fun part of the job, the cleaning up, but that's old cars for you. But half the reason that these old cars have bad floors is the windshield leaked. So you're doing yourself a favour in the long run, spending a bit of time and surviving a bit of mess to get it sealed up. There you have it. Yeah, that's most of a tube gone. So, right, next step. We use this stuff. I use sprayway glass cleaner, just because. Not any special reason, but I use that as a lubricant, so it probably seems a little counterproductive, but I just hit all this and it dries away, it evaporates off. You think, oh, you're getting, you know, wetness all over that nice new butyl seal that you put on there, but it does just evaporate off. It allows it to slip, you know, the whole thing to slip in. And we'll do the same. We'll go right around the perimeter of the gasket before we drop it in. Then I think we're going to have to put the camera on the tripod, because old Dr. Art here is going to have to grab the other end of the windshield instead of the camera and help me in with this thing. Now let's get rid of that. Give this the treatment. Again, this is not the time to be stingy. Let's get it nice and wet. All right, time for the tripod. All right, here you go. It's all in. Kind of looking pretty across the top there. Nice new glass, new rubber, all AMD product. Went in there nice. And yeah, hopefully no more water leaks. So yeah, you can test it with a hose, see if it leaks, but typically if it's going to leak, it's the rain that finds its way in, 3 or 4 hours worth of rain. So I'm pretty confident that's going to be sealed up. We're going to throw the wipers back on, glue the interior mirror on, and job done. So yeah, that just looks a whole lot nicer than that horrible cracked up mess we had. So yeah, all right, well that's another chapter in the shop truck, and we'll be back, I guess. What's going to be next? Short bed maybe, Crown Vic front maybe, not sure. We will see. All right, see you on the next one, guys. Take it easy.